Time to think about where your shelter is. Let me welcome in all of our viewers. We are back on YouTube. If you'd like to watch on the News 12 YouTube channel, we are live and direct again on the WDEF News 12 panel. Keeping an eye again on what's going on, trying to reach out to our viewers on the digital framework as well. Let me go into again some velocity scan and show you as this storm again makes its way through the area, making its way pretty much almost right over the radar site at this time. So we're looking at the potential of maybe some rotation taking place along this particular line where you see the darker and the lighter greens taking place. That right there could be a significant area of rotation. It's very broad, so somewhere in this area there is a possible tornado warning taking place, and that again making its way up to the north and east. So that may be going right back over the high top area pretty soon, passing Huntsville to the north, just to the east of I-65. Again, that right there is just the preliminary idea as to what's going on. That right there is called velocity mode. Again, we can see which direction the winds are turning in here, going one direction on one side with one color and rotating another way with another. So we've got several suspect areas of where we could be looking at the possibility of tornadoes in portions of the area. Again, not seeing any reports from the National Weather Service. A severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County continues. 60-mile-per-hour winds have been observed with this storm, according to the National Weather Service in Huntsville. So let me clear this off, and we'll switch over to storm relative velocity to give you an idea as to what we're looking at. Again, Chattanooga and areas back toward the east. There's really not that much going on for us here. Likewise, into northwestern parts of Georgia, but we do see the potential of storms moving your particular direction. We've got some of these very kind of interesting notches taking place, and let me show you. Let me get zoomed in a little farther so we can see what's going on. Again, Chattanooga very over to the side, off screen to the right. If you're looking at this again in the last couple of minutes, we have seen, let's go back a couple minutes here, right back over the area between Elkton, Bethel, and Ardmore. Could be, again, a possible tornado vortex there, and that was a few minutes ago. We'll go forward in time to the present, and we're still seeing some of these echoes shaping up. What you're looking at again here, and also back up to the north of that and to the north of the Tennessee line. These are possible bow echoes, which again, that sort of backward C shape shows where the winds are kind of fanning out and moving a lot faster than the off to the sides. So around Fayetteville, Tennessee, Bucks Mill, Bellevue, Hazel Green, north of Huntsville. I will be watching that very carefully as we see again the potential for again more damaging winds in those particular areas. Going to go in a little farther down toward around Huntsville. We're seeing again that area where the tornado warning is located, and it seems like we've got again what looks to be kind of a limited but possible area of rotation taking place around the Clarkdale, Capshaw, Cluttsville, and Center Hill area taking place. That is just northwest of Huntsville and Madison, and that again might be making its way into northwestern areas of Jackson County. So that is where we may see some problems taking place in there for right now. Good news from back around Huntsville and up to the north around Nashville. The National Weather Service has canceled numerous counties in the tornado watch, so very good news on that, but we still have the more immediate threat to deal with here. Again, we're on the air for the time being. Let me zoom out again and get all the cities back on screen. Chattanooga and Hamilton County over here, central part of the News 12 viewing area. Right in here, there's a tornado warning for Jackson County in Alabama. So if you are, again, watching this, it looks like we may have a new tornado warning coming here for possibility of a new tornado located over Petersburg or 10 miles north of Fayetteville. Yes, I can definitely see that. Let's take a look a little farther north and see what we've got here. This is north the Tennessee line if you're looking at that right here between Alabama and Tennessee. And there appears to be a couple of good signatures with this storm. This goes from the area around Boonshill and Belleville. What we're looking at here, and again, this is just outside of our area, but it is heading our direction up into around Grundy County. I would watch this very carefully, but it looks like there's a possible pretty good rotation taking place here right around the Belleville area and around Petersburg, north of Fayetteville. So that's going to be going up toward Tullahoma and I-24. That eventually could make its way into around Grundy County, Tennessee. So that, excuse me, is something to take a look at there. So that is now a new active tornado warning taking place. Going back to, again, reflectivity, you can almost see a little bit of rotation with, again, some of these storms taking place here. And again, back up into kind of a notch taking place here. So we do have what looks to be the possibility of fairly good amounts of rotation taking place, fairly wide area of rotation. If these storms were a little bit more tighter, spinning, kind of like when an ice skater draws in their arms to spin really fast, I would see a little bit more threat there for right now. But again, the radar, it's a radar indicated storm. We do not have anything in the way of actual eyewitness accounts showing anything in the way of actual tornadoes on the ground, not from anything involving law enforcement and not from anybody in the way of amateur radio or anybody else out there. But again, what we're looking at for right now, let me put this into motion. And apologies to everybody watching on YouTube. I'm going to have to step off screen here for a minute so I can go over to our large green screen and check things out. Hopefully you can hear me from over there. Once again, we're watching this area here: Chattanooga, southern Hamilton County, Tennessee line, Georgia, northeast Alabama, picking up again the tornado watch for the time being, and we don't have any other watch taking place for southeast Tennessee, western North Carolina, or northern Georgia. This area, the squall line stretched out again with these tornado warnings that are in effect for here, just about maybe 15 to 20 minutes away from northwestern Jackson County, which again now has a tornado warning in effect. Now, whether or not this holds together as it goes toward the Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia tri-corner area there, we'll have to wait and see what the National Weather Service says. It's about to cross over into Morristown, Tennessee jurisdiction and Peachtree City. So it's possible we could see these warnings continue. Some of the line up here, again, this appears to be strengthening just a little bit around Tullahoma and just north and west of Winchester. So some of this, again, I think we've got a couple more hours worth of possible tornado threat with this storm. We are in the portion of the area here that we have the best threat of anything involving severe weather. It is moving into lesser threat areas of slight and marginal taking place, but we're not out of the woods until all of the area has been considered, taken care of. For now, it looks like the National Weather Service, the Storm Prediction Center, is not planning on issuing any new watches downstream of the area that you see. Again, those brick red colors, northeast Alabama under that particular watch area, and we do not have any watches taking place downstream towards southeast Tennessee and northern Georgia. Now, we might see that in the next hour or so as these storms go ahead and continue across those particular areas. So for right now, this is the area we're going to watch for later on. Let's get back into and around and see what's going on into around northwestern areas of Jackson County in Alabama, and the storm itself is just over to your west. It is now passing right through the Huntsville area, and that again is that area between just east of I-65. So we do have a decent amount of probably heavy rain coming down at this time. We do have reports again of wind gusts of 74 miles per hour from around the Huntsville-Madison area. An automated system observing system, or ASOS, reporting a nearly 75 mile per hour wind gust just around the area south around Huntsville down toward Madison. And the tornado warning continues again north of that area up toward Fayetteville, Tennessee, moving east at about 45 miles per hour. A 61 mile per hour wind gust reported around Decatur, Alabama, and moving back to the north and east. And that, again, is where we're seeing the worst of the wind. So we don't only just have the threat of tornadoes taking place, we also have the potential of also seeing, again, more in the way of damaging winds and the possibility of very heavy amounts of rainfall leading to potential flash flooding. So that also, again, is something to really take a look at for here. Let's do a quick storm track on here and show you the heaviest storm right around Huntsville that is heading with that possible tornado. Let's track from the area here so we can see more about what's going on. Again, somewhere north of Huntsville, that's the area there that we're looking at the potential for more severe weather. That is moving to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour. So again, this is what we're looking at for right now as that storm goes on through. Again, let me put this into motion so I can gesture a little bit more on the green screen and show you more about what is happening. What we're seeing again is this line. We're seeing a couple of things here with this. Number one, you've got kind of a notch taking place that right there, that sort of backward C shape, that arch area, right around Huntsville. That's a good indication that we're looking at the possibility of damaging winds. That's called a bow echo in that line of storms. There also appears to be kind of another one right about up here, but that's also where we see the potential of some tornado warning rotation taking place as well. These are where we're seeing, again, into the area, making its way over toward northwestern Jackson County, so it's right on your doorstep within about another 30 minutes or so, making its way there. The National Weather Service issues these warnings fairly far ahead of time so that you, the citizens and the residents out there, can be able to see more about what is happening. And these are the areas that will be in the line of those storms in that particular polygon, going over again, passing to the north and east, right around northwestern areas of Jackson County. We'll get out of the way here so you can see a little bit more about that time frame. Again, this is where the heaviest area of the storm is located, heading in this general direction. Could be spreading out a little bit there, just to the west of High Top, as we go to right about the area coming close to about 12:40 a.m. Central Time here, as the storm makes its way toward Eastern Time. We'll get some different time frames on there, but again, this is the heaviest portion of that storm. Now basically right on the doorstep of Huntsville and going to the northeast. So as it goes into the northwestern Jackson County, that is where we're going to again see the potential of this weather over here making its way this direction. It's not in Jackson County yet, but it will be, and now is the time to make certain that you are ready to go with this storm coming on through. Now is the time to make sure that you have a plan in place to get to shelter as soon as possible if you're not there already, and to make certain you get to, if your phone is in charge right now, get it charged as much as you possibly can. Know where your safe place is. Again, lower portion of whatever building you happen to be on, and central portion of whatever building you happen to be in. If you're not in the building, if you're watching this out someplace and you're about ready to travel, try again to get to where you're going very quickly within about, again, 10, 15, 20 minutes before the storm makes its way to you. If you can shelter in place, finding the interior of whatever building is available to you, and again, away from exterior walls with windows on them to where we could see debris pushed in by winds or tornadoes or large hail. Could be a potential problem there as the system again goes back to the east at about 55 miles per hour. This thing is really booking along. So in northwest Jackson County, we don't have much time before the system gets a little bit closer to you. So now is the time to get ready. Again, central part of whatever building you happen to be in. Now's not the time to panic. Now's the time to prepare for what is happening. And again, you need to be thinking clearly about this, about what is going on. Lowest floor of whatever building you happen to be on, and also again paying attention to being away from exterior windows. Okay, a National Weather Service in Nashville reporting from an emergency manager of damaging wind gust. A pole barn under construction blown onto a pickup truck. Several pine trees broken off 15 feet above the ground. And again, that was reported in Lawrence County, Tennessee by the National Weather Service in Nashville. Let's go ahead and take this to a stop here for just a second. And I'm going to get rid of the watches and warnings for just a moment. And we're going to go back to base velocity to see if we can see anything else popping up on here. This right here is, again, very telling to what we're looking at. Franklin County not in our viewing area, and just to the west of that, again, that notch right there showing the potential of a good amount of rotation between Fayetteville and around Hazel Green, and could be some weak rotation taking place right back up around that notch due west of Tullahoma. So we might be looking at the potential again of maybe a couple of areas of rotation taking place. So that is something that needs to be considered out there. New information from the National Weather Service in Huntsville. It can cancel the warning for Limestone County in Alabama, continues it for Franklin, Tennessee, Madison, and Jackson counties in Alabama. Moving east now at about 50 miles per hour. Best circulations along these lines were located near Fayetteville and Huntsville. So that's what we were just taking a look at. Again, a pretty good notch there, and could be one, again, sitting right there between Hazel Green and Huntsville. So that's what we're looking at for now. No indication, no updates on any new damage just yet in that area. And again, what we are on the air for right now is this particular line coming on through that area of around Huntsville. If you just are joining us now, this is the reason we're on the air. The tornado warning that continues in effect for northwestern Jackson County. Again, the main line of these storms is right back to your west. So all of this is making its way toward the area of northwestern Jackson County, west of High Top, west of Skyline. Now, again, you need to be in your safe place as that storm gets closer to you. Conditions are going to deteriorate very quickly, so now is the time to make certain you get into safety there. Now, while we're talking about this, let's go just a little bit further afield and show you what we've got going on. Again, the main section of this storm sitting right across the area north of Huntsville. That, again, will be passing over northwestern Alabama. It's a good bet we will see new tornado warnings very soon for the rest of Jackson County, and then look at where that line of storms is going to be going relatively soon. That's going to be coming in right over the Signal Mountain, Lookout Mountain, Raccoon Mountain area, and aiming basically right for Chattanooga. That is still a good about maybe hour and a half to 2 hours away, and there's no indication that we're going to be seeing anything excuse me, in the way of this storm continuing. It might diminish, but right now we have to assume that it's going to continue and stay very strong. So this particular cell, if you're in Chattanooga, southwestern and southern Hamilton County, not to mention right around northwestern Dade County, Georgia, and the rest of the northern half of areas around Jackson County in northeast Alabama. That is going to be the target zone as this system goes on through. So if you live in any of this area along that line, that is where we could be looking again at the potential of a lot of trouble coming on through. Let's see if our storm track is working again. It was having some issues earlier. So the main part of the storm system here, and then moving to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour. So this particular storm is aiming for northwestern Jackson County, Tennessee, or Alabama. This is the reason why we are on the air right now, to let you know about this, because this tornado warning is affecting part of our viewing area counties in northeastern Alabama for northwestern Jackson County. So again, the storm making its way north of the area of Huntsville, going to be going through the area of Mountain Gap Estates, Bravo, Doubletree, Sugar Tree, Woodridge, Ridgewood, Ryland Acres, and Bravo. within about the next couple of minutes. Matter of fact, you got about 1 minute before the storm hits that particular line of the areas that we just talked about. So this, again, is why you need to get to a safe place and stay there. Know where your safe place is. This is a very good idea, again, to make certain that you are paying attention to what is going on out there. A lot of very quiet conditions in Chattanooga for right now. We are also watching for the potential of more rainfall taking place. That could lead, again, to flash flooding. Here's what it looks like. Again, we have flood watches in effect for areas northwest of Chattanooga, and that includes Bledsoe, Sequatchie, Grundy, and Marion counties. That remains in effect until around the area of 11 a.m. Central, 12 Eastern, for that particular area, again, north and west of Chattanooga. So be prepared for the possibility of flash flooding in those areas. We also have numerous wind advisories taking place. In the blue shaded areas, it's a good possibility we'll see winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts of 45 miles per hour possible. Southeast Polk and southeast Monroe counties, in far southeastern Tennessee up against the Appalachians, you are under a high wind warning where we will see overnight sustained winds of 20 to 35 miles per hour, and it's a good possibility that we may see also wind gusts topping 70 miles per hour. That's not from just severe weather. That's from the passage of this entire storm system going on. So this is, again, a system that is going to be bringing a mountain wave effect to the area, which means everybody's going to see some gusty winds in the next several hours, and to be very, very cautious on the roadways. Not only are you going to be dealing with the wet roadways continuing, and then also, again, you're going to have to make certain that you keep a firm hand on the steering wheel as we see, again, some very choppy conditions taking place in parts of the area tonight. So some double whammies with rain, hail, and the possibility of maybe some gusty, damaging winds out across portions of the area. So please keep that in mind. If you don't have to travel, try and stay where you are because, again, these storms are going to be moving through relatively soon. Let's take a look at the current watch situation. Again, northeastern Alabama, just southwest of Chattanooga, Jackson and DeKalb counties under a tornado watch, and that's in effect until 4 a.m. Eastern. But for now, the good news is back to the west of that, Nashville down toward about Florence and around the area close to Tupelo. Around that particular area, they have canceled those counties out of the watch, which means that the threat behind this line of storms has basically come to an end for now. We have no indication from the Storm Prediction Center that they are going to be issuing a new watch at this time. So far, so good on that. We hope that it continues that way. We'll bring you updates on that the farther we go into the evening. We have a lot of mist and drizzle out there. We have some spray being kicked up on the vehicles. This is 2475 on the Tomahawk crane and rigging camera, looking north toward the airport. Not seeing a lot of traffic out there, and again, could be some slow travel and some very windy conditions as we go into the course of the next several hours. So that, again, could be something to take a look at there. Significant wind threat, we are not seeing that. So good news there to where we would see hurricane force winds forecast for portions of the area. That does not appear to be taking place at this time. Likewise, a significant tornado threat. That's tornadoes of EF2 and higher, and what are called long track tornadoes. Strong tornadoes that can be on the ground for many hours at a time possibly and go over a lot of territory, including many different counties. Not seeing that at this point. So that in and of itself is also some good news at this time. Significant hail threat, also not seeing that. So very good news for the time being. Let's take a look and see what the Storm Prediction Center is showing. The threat will be coming to an end as we go throughout the next several hours, but we do still have a lot of hours of possible rough weather coming on through, and then tomorrow morning the threat comes to an end as temperatures really begin to tumble. For right now, again, we'll take a look at that coming up here in just a little while, but the best potential we have of anything involving severe weather. We've got all these warnings taking place now. We now have, that looks like, yes, that is a brand new tornado warning that goes until 1:30 a.m. Central Time, 2:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Tornado possibly indicated by radar in this area and was located near Moore's Mill, moving northeast at approximately 50 miles per hour. Again, wind damage reported around Lawrence County, Tennessee. We're also looking at the possibility, it looks like National Weather Service Morristown of showing some fairly heavy amounts of rain with this storm coming on through. All right, let's delve back into this. This storm is now knocking on the doorstep of northwestern Jackson County. Again, that's that area right here that has had the tornado warning for the last about 15, 20 minutes, almost a half an hour or so. And now we have a new tornado warning. That's a very poor drawing light there. Let me go ahead and just start all over with that. New tornado warning taking place. Again, High Top, Stevenson, back to the west of Bridgeport and around the Skyline area. That is where we're picking up, again, the worst of the worst potential of what may be a new threat of a tornado warning coming in through that particular area there. National Weather Service, again, canceling the tornado warning for eastern Limestone County, so some good news on that. Let's go back to the tornado warning here. Northern Jackson County now included in all of this tornado warning taking place. So for right now, that new tornado warning has been issued and is in effect for northeast, or northwest and north central areas of Jackson County, Alabama. And again, that line that we've been watching making its way in from the west. That's going to be going through Skyline, High Top, and Stevenson within the hour taking place. Again, this tornado warning is in effect until 1:30 Central Time for northern and northwestern Jackson County. So that is where we're taking a look at the worst of the worst activity there. Let me take a look here. Let me go back to base velocity mode, and yes. Okay, what we're looking at here, what we're seeing, Huntsville down toward the lower section of your screen, and then again, as we see toward Buckhorn, Baltimore Mill. It's a fairly wide rotation, but it is, again, showing up with a decent amount of strength. So somewhere in this area, you're looking at between Buckhorn and Davis Mills, there's a possible tornado somewhere in there. A decent amount of rotation around this area taking place. So we are seeing a good reason why the National Weather Service has issued this tornado warning, that's somewhere in this area that we may be looking at a possible tornado. Now that area, again, watching back toward the area close to the original tornado warning, northwest Jackson County, that area of rotation is almost about ready to cross the county line and make its way into your area. So as Still Fork, Baileytown, Princeton, I would watch that area. If you're in those locations, now would be a good time to get into a place of safety, because again, right in here, somewhere in that area could be a tornado. We have no indication, no confirmation that it's on the ground, but again, this radar signature is definitely something to consider. And again, if you're in this area ahead of this, this is where you need to be in a safe place. Again, as the storm system goes over to the east-northeast, that is where we're seeing the worst of the worst. Let me do another storm track from that possible tornado there. And again, moving to the northeast at approximately 50 miles per hour. That's going to take it again around Deposit within about another 2 minutes. St. Clair Store and Greenfield in about another 4 minutes. Past the top of the hour, Princeton, Larkin, Francisco, Baileytown, Still Fork, Coptown, High Top, and Jericho, moving again northeast very, very quickly. This particular cell, again, is what we're looking at. I'm going to hop off of YouTube here for a minute. We are live on YouTube, but unfortunately, I don't know if my microphone is actually catching everything over there. So may sound a little dim. We'll get back to the desk here in just a little while. Seeing that notch right there around Deposit, Buckhorn, and Caleb's Mill, right there is that strongest signature, and that is the Jackson County line. So that is just minutes away from heading into Jackson County. This is not meant to scare anybody. This is for public protection. The reason we're on the air and letting you know about this. The whole idea about hyping severe weather, I've been accused of that before, but we have never professionally done anything like that. There's no point in making things worse than they are. It's now creating more fear and panic on top of that. So this is the situation as it stands. Giving it to you as straightforwardly as we possibly can. Again, if you're in the area of northwest, west central Jackson County, and back to the west, this will be heading your direction. But this is where the storm will be within about the next hour, traveling at 55 miles per hour, heading back to the north and east. And again, right in this area there, that is where we're seeing the strongest area of rotation coming on through. So I would be in a place of safety anywhere ahead of this, as you're seeing on the time frame right here, doing our storm path. That again is going to be going over some of these areas relatively soon, and that's why the tornado warning was issued in the first place. So once again, Princeton, Baileytown, High Top, and still forth, anywhere here, again, west central Jackson County, the storm is heading your way and will be in that particular location, west central and northwestern Jackson County, relatively soon. This is radar indicated rotation from the National Weather Service in Huntsville. What does that mean? It means we have no confirmation of anything actually on the ground. But at a time like this, to where we have the possibility of tornadoes that may be out there and could be, again, anything in that area. Remember where we were talking about right here. If the tornado is, give or take, somewhere in this area, note that we have a ton of rainfall encircling this. It's like a curtain to where you cannot see anything, to where the tornado is wrapping around, or is getting wrapped around by the rainfall. Rain-wrapped tornadoes at nighttime are some of the most deadly tornadoes because you can't see it coming. You may not hear it coming because of the rain, the position of the tornado, all that going on. So if you're in this area, this is the time to be in a place of safety as this system makes its way into west central and northwestern Jackson County. Rain-wrapped tornadoes are nothing to be messing around with. Do not try to go out and get video of this thing. Do not try to get pictures. If you can get it safely afterwards, we would love to see them, but do not risk your life for a piece of video or a picture. It is not worth it. Please make certain that you are safe above all else. And again, for right now, for what I'm looking at here, this is something that is very important, to where if this rotation that is showing up here continues over the area of northern Jackson County, this eventually is going to cross the Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama line, the tri-corner area, and this could go theoretically very close to Chattanooga proper and southwestern areas of Hamilton County. We'll see what the National Weather Service in Huntsville has to say about this. But for right now, I would watch that again exceptionally carefully, and I would be prepared to move to a safe location back toward Marion County, Kimball, down towards South Pittsburgh, and then anything west of Chattanooga within about, I would say, the next 60 to 90 minutes. This cell will continue that direction. But for right now, the cell is now right on top of the area of western Jackson County, and that is where we are seeing again a decent signature of a possible tornado located right on the western area of Jackson County. So somewhere right in here is probably a tornadic vortex. Maybe it's touched down, maybe it hasn't, but we don't want to risk that. Don't go out and look for it. Stay indoors. Let's take a look and see what we've got in the way. There doesn't seem to be too much in the way of any markers for hail. We are seeing a little bit of a marker showing up there preceding that area of rotation. It's not much, but it is at least something that shows the possibility of anything involving possible hail. We also have these swaths that we are watching coming in with these storms. All you see here, these areas of purple, indicate where there may be large hail coming down, at least hail of 1 inch or larger, and that again is moving into western Jackson County as well, and back into the area of Franklin County in Tennessee, just north of the line. How about rotation taking place to where we have shear in the atmosphere? That again is winds of various levels in the atmosphere, slower coming in from the south, farther down toward the surface, and then faster and turning to the west back to the north of that. That shows we could be looking at the potential of some turning in the atmosphere. Now, it's a little bit weaker here as it moves into around Jackson County, but we also have this area up here with numerous shear markers around Huntland, Brown Mill, Belvedere, and west of Coptown. So that is where we could see also some tornadoes in that area. And then also looking back toward the area south of Tullahoma, they're under a tornado warning at this time, a severe thunderstorm warning as well for that area, and a tornado warning for northern parts of Franklin County. And what we are seeing here also is numerous shear markers along that squall line. So that could be indicative of possibility of stronger rotation taking place. Again, hopefully we do not get anything out of that. I'm going to check and see if we look at anything on the debris detector. This is also, the fancy name for it is correlation coefficient. What we look for is a lot of the blue color in and among the red. And so far in this area where the tornadoes have been and are making their way towards, we're not seeing any indication that there has been debris thrown aloft into the atmosphere. That is what we're looking for, and we are not seeing anything in the way of indications that we are picking up anything at this time that shows that tornadoes have touched down and caused damage. So very good news on that front. I'm going to take a bit of a wider view here, and I'm going to step off screen for our viewers on YouTube. If you're on there, going to see again what we're looking at again for here on a wider scale. Again, for right now, for what we're looking at, let's go over this piece by piece. The storm line, squall line itself, the strongest portion of this severe weather threat is now east of Nashville and heading across the plateau around I-40. That squall line now stretches right back down into northeastern Alabama. Some tornado warnings taking place again for northern parts of Jackson County, Alabama, and now for Franklin County, just west of Marion County. Grundy and Marion County mark the western areas of the News 12 viewing area here. Now, DeKalb County, not showing anything in the way of tornadic weather, but we do see some severe thunderstorm warnings being issued around that location. So, gusty winds, severe thunderstorm warnings focusing on gusty winds, possible large hail, possible huge amounts of rainfall dropping down, and on saturated ground, it runs off very quickly. And that's when you get flash flood warnings. But for DeKalb County, in Alabama, we do not see any tornado warnings being issued out of this for now. Northern Jackson County, that is where we are picking up the tornado warning at this point. And again, that, if it continues, the strongest portion of that storm now into northwestern Jackson County, that's going to be heading right back up eventually within the next hour to hour and a half, crossing areas around the Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama tri-corner area, and then eventually it holds together right around Chattanooga. So again, not wanting to increase fear or panic, we want to make sure everybody in Hamilton County and Chattanooga and around Bledsoe, Sequatchie, Grundy, Marion counties are aware of what is coming your direction. And again, if you're in any of these areas west of Chattanooga, definitely want to think about where your severe shelter is, because you're going to have to get there relatively soon. Even if we get rid of all the tornado warnings, we have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings, and these storms have caused 50, 60, 75 mile per hour wind gusts in southern middle Tennessee and northern parts of Alabama. So that is where we are seeing part of the worst damage tonight. And that's pretty much what we were expecting as this squall line makes its way through. Very heavy amounts of wind possible here, so we could be looking at trees down, debris in the roadway, power lines down, which means power outages coming up pretty soon. So if you're ahead of this line and you haven't charged your phone yet, I would go ahead and get that phone charged just to be on the safe side. So hopefully you get information through on that. If you've got your weather radio, get some fresh batteries into that if you haven't done that already. And again, keep tuned to News 12. Do not depend on tornado sirens. Around Chattanooga, the sirens are in effect or used for any possible problems with TVA, and we do not have tornado sirens per se for this area. A lot of other places do have them, and again, don't depend on those sirens to alert you. You have numerous ways of getting in touch with the National Weather Service issuances. We'll bring along what we can here, but it's always best to have several modes of getting information on that. So Chattanooga, northwest Georgia, and back into around Grundy thing make its way on through, and eventually, I'd say again, within about 60 minutes or a little more, this could be moving through portions of the area right around Chattanooga and western Hamilton County. So we've got a lot going on here that we really need to watch out for. We'll see at this time as these storms pass over to the east. They're going to be moving into the territory of National Weather Service Morristown and National Weather Service Peachtree City, Georgia, down by Atlanta. So we'll see if they decide to continue the tornado warnings. Even if the tornado warnings are dropped, again, I cannot reiterate this enough, be inside when these storms happen. If you're driving anywhere ahead of this, find a place to pull off the road and wait for this mess to blow over. This is not what you want to be driving in, powering through, as some people may call it. Again, could lead to some accidents. Not the best place you want to be when these storms are making their way into the area. The good news for right now, we still are not seeing a new watch being issued. We'll see if the National Weather Service brings us any information on that in their mesoscale discussion reports. Excuse me, when you talk for an hour and a half, you tend to get a little dry throat going on, so apologies for that. All right, so for what we're looking at right now, let's zoom back into the problem for what we're looking at. That tornado warning and that strongest part of the storm is now making its way through and across northwestern areas of Jackson County. Again, this is a tornado-warned storm. So if you are in this area, let me go back one step here. Go to that. There we go. This, again, somewhere between Coptown, High Top, and Baileytown, that is where we are looking for the potential for, again, severe weather. Tornado warnings now firing up down toward Birmingham, Alabama. A couple more tornado warnings being issued down there. But this right here, inside the circle, somewhere in that area, that is where we may be seeing the potential of a tornado warning. And that storm, again, going off to the east-northeast. Let's go ahead and clear that out, and let's do a storm track on what we're seeing, again, with that particular storm, because that is the strongest portion of what we're seeing there, somewhere in that area right there, and that heading off to the east at about 55 miles per hour. So if you live in any of these areas, from a Still Fork, which is going to be, again, coming up here in just a few minutes, High Top around 106, Allison 113, also Cave Spring at 113, Gauntz. I hope I'm saying these towns correctly. Forgive me if I'm not. I've been here for a while and I'm still learning names. Pleasant Grove at 116, Anderson 118, Card Switch around 119, Stevenson around 120, Newtown at 122, Cooper's Mill 123, and the Crossroads, Orme, and I hope I'm saying that right, and Montague at 124 a.m. Eastern Time. And that takes us into the northeastern corner of Jackson County as we see, again, the potential of a new threat of possible tornadoes coming through that particular location. Lots of new tornado warnings around Birmingham, Alabama. A lot more taking place right to our south. The tornado warning is canceled. National Weather Service Huntsville canceling for Madison, Alabama, and Lincoln, Tennessee. Continues for Jackson County, Alabama. Thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado 8 miles northwest of Skyline and 15 miles east of Moore's Mill, moving east at approximately 55 miles per hour. So this is the strongest part of the storm. Right around High Top at this point, it was, where was it? 8 miles northwest of Skyline. So the particular area, again, that we're watching is probably somewhere right about in this area here. So that is where we're seeing the potential of that storm causing a possible tornado past Holly Tree, south and east of Larkin, but Cave Spring, Allison, Carnes, Stevenson, Cedar Grove, Bolivar, Bridgeport, even south of South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, and over toward Coal City in northwest Georgia. That is where that potential storm is going to be going and could be on the ground right now. It's kind of difficult to say until we get a confirmation from the National Weather Service or from the authorities out there via the National Weather Service. It is possible that, again, we could, if we don't get a confirmation there, that's where, again, the storm is going to be causing problems at this point. Looks like some of my settings have been changed here. Let me see if I can do that real quick. Again, the storm again right about in this area, moving to 55 miles per hour. If that continues east-northeast, that's going to take it to areas right around Chattanooga, Fort Oglethorpe, down into northwestern areas of Georgia within about, again, the next hour or so. So that is a good estimation of what's going on time-wise at this point. Let's zoom out and take a look at the entire area. Albertville, Gadsden, down toward Birmingham. We've got, again, numerous areas of severe thunderstorm warnings along I-59 heading down that direction. A lot of rainfall going back into the area west of this main line of storms. And I think we just got our answer. We have a new tornado watch that has just gone into effect. This will be in effect until 9 o'clock Eastern time for northwest Georgia and parts of southeast Tennessee, all in the News 12 viewing area. So this has just been issued by the Storm Prediction Center, which says that these storms are going to continue to be tornadic and will continue to be a threat as we get into the area of the next couple of hours. So anything to the east of the Alabama-Georgia line, anything west of Chattanooga passing through Hamilton County, back toward around Cleveland and Bradley County, you're going to have to watch this with a lot of interest and definitely with safety in mind, because of the fact that we may be looking again at the potential of some damaging winds at the very least, and the possibility of some tornadoes coming over the horizon. Again, we have no confirmation of anything touching down just yet. We have had numerous reports from Huntsville and National Weather Service Nashville that we are seeing wind damage reports reported in some locations by automated observing systems of 60 to 75 miles per hour. Now, again, that is anything embedded with and along this particular front. So the wind damage in and of itself, tornadoes are much more dangerous, but wind damage can be just as dangerous if the winds are very powerful. And some of these winds that we've been getting reported from the National Weather Services of the area are showing very clearly that we have hurricane force winds with these storms. Category 1, mind you, but still a hurricane force type of wind going on. So we have the new tornado watch in effect, and that goes all the way down past Macon, Georgia, to around central and west central Georgia. And we also have numerous tornado warnings back down around Birmingham. So this storm system has a lot of health and vigor to it, and we're not done with this particular cell just yet. Let me stop this real quick and take a look for our counties around Grundy and back up around Sequatchie and Bledsoe. It looks like for right now, and let me just double check this. Okay, the tornado warning does continue for northern Franklin County until 1:30 a.m. Central. So the potential of anything involving a tornado in this area between Tullahoma and Winchester, that's going to be aiming for Grundy County pretty soon in the News 12 viewing area. So western Grundy County, I-24, and east of that back toward Tracy City and Colmont. I would be watching this system because we may have another tornado warning coming up here by the National Weather Service in Morristown. The dividing line here, we are covered by 4 different National Weather Service offices. Again, the National Weather Service in Huntsville covers over toward Georgia. National Weather Service in Peachtree City covers everything in northwest and north central Georgia. The National Weather Service in Nashville covers the area of Grundy County, Tennessee, and everything else in the News 12 viewing area in Tennessee and western North Carolina is covered over by the National Weather Service in Morristown. So we have to pay attention to a lot of different warnings that come down the pike. Matter of fact, that dinging sound you might hear is from the Iowa State IEM bot, where we keep track of the warnings that are being issued on the weather wires, and we will, again, continue to pay attention to that. Every time you hear a ding, there's another update from one of those severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings from the National Weather Service offices there. So that is why we have that audible alert, so that I can tell you a little bit more about what exactly is going on. If you're just tuning in, maybe your power's been off, maybe you just got home, around Chattanooga and Hamilton County, a tornado watch has just been issued, and again, that is in effect until 9 o'clock Eastern. Now, it's a good bet that a lot of this entire line will be passing over to the east, and having that going east of us will reduce, if not get rid of entirely, the severe weather threat. So it's not a good bet that this storm will cause tornado watches to last for another 7 hours, but it is in effect in case any storms develop and cause more problems out there. So this, again, could be a bit of an issue into tonight. And again, anything to the east of Chattanooga, back toward Athens, Spring City, Dalton, Calhoun, into north central Georgia and extreme southeastern Tennessee. We are also looking again at some very windy conditions, and we also see again the potential for some more problems with winds and, of course, hail and rain and tornadoes. So we've got a lot to do here. It looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for Marion County, Tennessee. Interesting that totally skips over Grundy County. That possibly issued by the National Weather Service in Morristown. National Weather Service Nashville has not issued anything new. The tornado warning for Franklin County, again, for the possible very strong indications of wind and tornadoes, that's going to be moving into southwestern Grundy County in the News 12 viewing area. So again, stay tuned, and if you're in areas along and east of I-24 in Grundy County, you need to be in a safe place for right now. The tornado warning continues in effect for Franklin County, Tennessee, that we just talked about. Again, they're moving up to the north and to the east. That particular cell could have a tornado there. National Weather Service Huntsville showing again a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado locating over Decherd, I hope I'm saying these correctly, or near Winchester, moving east at approximately 40 miles per hour. We're going to go ahead and keep the east-northeast directed or on here so we can show again everybody as to what exactly we may be looking at. But that particular cell going into around western Grundy County, it's a severe thunderstorm warning at this point for Grundy County. That has been issued. Okay, the tornado warning definitely continues in effect for there. Let me stop this for a second. We'll do another point view of a track on here to give you an idea as to what's going on. So the strongest part of the storm here, moving to the east at about, say, 55, east-northeast, about 55 miles per hour. So let's put this into motion. And let me get off the YouTube channel here for a second. We'll be back in just a moment. What we're looking at again here is a time-lapse area to show you where the storm is, where it's been, and where it's going to. All of these locations are showing again in this polygon to where we may see the threat affecting these areas. Now, some of these are larger cities and towns. Some of them are crossroads or areas that may be, again, intersections of roads that have a nickname of some sort. Our weather computer people, Barons in Huntsville, Alabama, they're very thorough about putting stuff like that in. So again, right about here, again, back toward the area into eastern parts of Franklin County and around Estelle Springs. That appears to be the worst of the worst. That's where the tornado is possibly making its way towards. And again, for Grundy County, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning for Marion, Grundy, and back up toward around the area of Wheatley, Lager. Again, Sequatchie and Bledsoe will be next up as that line passes on through there. But for any of these areas, again, these are in central time, being on the central part of the timeline. These are the timelines that we're expecting these areas to possibly be affected by that tornado. So again, Sewanee into that area, University of the South, definitely want to watch that and make certain you're in a safe place. Students and faculty that may be on campus in that area definitely want to have a severe weather plan enacted and make certain everybody's in a safe place as the storm gets closer to that particular area there. Again, heading over into the area around Sequatchie County and eastern portions of the area of Grundy and Marion counties. That's where this storm is heading into. Hopefully, again, avoiding the Sewanee area, but it's about ready to cross I-24 and then move its way to the east-northeast. So all of these locations, if your area is on here, you need to be in a safe place. Get there, stay there until anything with tornado warnings goes past. We do see again the quick end of these storms coming up, but it's going to be several more hours before the threat is removed from the entire News 12 viewing area. So even if there's no tornado warning, there are plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings out there. And remember that we've had reports of these storms, these that we've been watching here on radar, moving from southern middle Tennessee and northern Alabama. We have had reports of 60 to 75 mile per hour winds. So we're talking about hurricane strength winds. Do not go out and try to get pictures. Do not try to go out and get any video. Never risk your life for a piece of video. Anything like that is not worth it. So please make certain you stay in a safe place and continue again to stay there until we have anything in the way of confirmation that everything is in fact over with. Again, so far we're looking at the potential for a lot more coming our way. Heavy rainfall, gusty, damaging winds. I'm going to go ahead and stop this and remove all the information from the screen so we can go and see more about what is actually happening here. And let me also take a look and see if we can, for just a moment. Yes, okay, just the watches and warnings I want to take a look at real quick. Okay, wait a minute, 1 second here. All right, we have back to the radar display south and eastern, southwestern DeKalb County, Alabama. You are now under a tornado warning. That again has just been issued for the News 12 viewing area, southwestern DeKalb County. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over McClarty, 11 miles northeast of Blountsville, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Could be a tornado with quarter-sized hail in this particular storm system. We see now, okay, the strongest part of that storm, let me go to back to velocity at this time so we can see, yeah, there's a pretty well-defined line right there, and it looks like if that area 11 miles northeast of Blountsville or over McClarty at this time. Let me go in a little farther here so maybe we can pick up the smaller areas that we can tell you more about. Right along that line right there, it appears that we are seeing another tornadic area. Again, right in here somewhere, that is where we could be seeing the possible tornado. And that, again, making its way up and to the east-northeast moving east at about 35 miles per hour. Again, this is DeKalb County in Alabama, one of the two counties in Alabama in the News 12 viewing area. So this is what we are seeing at this time with that particular strong cell south of Albertville and moving across the area toward about close to Boaz and Arona. That's moving at 35 miles per hour to the east, so let's do a track there and give you an idea as to what we're looking at. Again, strongest part of the storm somewhere in here, so this is moving east at 35. Those are the areas that we will be seeing the potential of a threat from another tornado. That does look like it's moving a little bit, kind of turning right a little bit, so that more east than east-northeast at this time. And that matters, again, so we can plot this out properly so we can tell you which direction it is going. Saratoga, around 117. That, again, about 2 minutes away, so you've got a little bit of time to get to your safe place there. Marshall, McVille, Arona, Kilpatrick, Liberty, Lathamville, Rodentown, Oak Hill, Crossville, Yancey, Skyrim, Hendricksville, and Greenwood. Please pardon me if I'm slaughtering some of those names. That, again, is where this storm is expected to bring the strongest possibility of a tornado as it crosses into southwestern portions of areas of southwestern DeKalb County. It's still in Marshall County for right now, but it is going to be crossing the line there. So areas around Arona, Rogers, back to around Skyrim and Crossville, you're going to be under the gun first and foremost here. Severe thunderstorm warning. Let me go out a little farther. We got a lot to talk about here tonight, so I apologize hopping around. But we have numerous warnings going on, and we've got to let you know about all of them affecting the News 12 viewing area. Let me bring this to a stop here so we can tell more about what's happening. Now, for areas around Dade, Catoosa, Walker, Chattanooga, western areas of Whitfield, Bearly, and back down toward that area of northwest Georgia, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. That in effect until 3 a.m. Eastern time, so that for 45 minutes as those storms make their way over from northeastern parts of Alabama. We have, let me just go ahead and get rid of the severe thunderstorm warnings for just a moment so we can see more about what's going on. We have the tornado, all you see right now are the tornado warnings, and counting them for the time being, one just outside the News 12 viewing area up toward and to the west and south of Cumberland County, south and east of Nashville around McMinnville. There's a tornado warning there. We have, and just counting them here for right now, we have, okay, sorry about that. Cranky computer here. All right, into Franklin County, Tennessee. We've got 2 tornado warnings there. We've got another one for north central and now northeastern areas of Alabama. We've got another tornado warning here around Scottsboro and Sylvania, right along the DeKalb-Jackson County line, and then another tornado warning here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 concurrent tornado warnings in a line, and that is again moving to the east anywhere between 35 and 55 miles per hour. So that is a solid wall of tornado warnings pretty much moving across the area and heading over again to the east. It's just a decent amount for right now, and we were expecting this for the last couple of days as we watch for the potential of these tornadoes to happen. Let's take a look at this one around the DeKalb and Jackson County line. That one, again, has been issued from earlier tonight. DeKalb and Jackson counties, that's in effect until 2 a.m. Central. That, again, for about another 45 minutes with the strongest potential of a tornado. Oh, that is not good right there. Back to the area around Langston and Crossroads. What we're seeing, again, right in this area, these turning of the colors from green on one side to the red coming in from the other side here, that's a good indication that somewhere in here there is a tornado forming. So we have, again, that tornado warning in effect for DeKalb and right around Jackson County. There could be numerous tornado warnings, numerous tornado vortexes taking place along this line. So we'll stretch this out a little bit to show that we could be looking again at the potential of maybe numerous tornado warnings along this line. Again, we were pretty well expecting the potential of this with this squall line dropping numerous tornado warnings out across the area. That tornado warning goes all the way up to the Alabama-Georgia line, right south of Dade County and around just close to the Walker County area. Right now, the National Weather Service in Peachtree City has issued a very large severe thunderstorm warning for that area. We'll bring that back online so you can see it in just a little bit. Going down again to the squall line here that we just had issued, now making its way into DeKalb County. The strongest portion of that line is right on the area of the Madison, I believe, and DeKalb County lines right there. So it is making its way in, and there is this area. Let me see if we see anything more there where it comes to the possibility of tornadoes. Somewhere right along that line, in effect, a couple of notches showing up here. Anywhere along this particular line, again, is where that potential of the storm is located. It could be the worst of the worst. But we also see, again, the potential for the worst right now. And what we're looking at here, okay, right around Arona, somewhere in this particular area, that looks like a pretty good notch. A lesser notch of the colors showing a possible rotation there, and also back up around Hopewell and Lakeview, right along that line. Any of those could be, again, the possibility of anything involving possible tornadoes. That is what we're seeing again from that particular tornado warning. That one around Section and Langston, that is an excellent view, showing again right there possibility of some rotation taking place. Bellevue between there and Crossroad, and down the road from Elliott Crossroad, Henniger, Dutton, Sylvania. I would be in a safe place immediately to watch that storm make its way through that particular location. Let's go back to, again, Jackson County tornado warning. Still there, but the heaviest activity is now making its way through Stevenson and Cedar Grove, right back around the Bolivar area. And that could be right in there. Let me take a look let's do a little quick analysis. What we're showing one potential right here around the Stevenson area. There's a bit of rotation there. There appears to be possibility of a wide-scale rotation around Bass and around Anderson, southwest of Montague. And again, that entire area of Jackson County, Alabama, under a tornado warning at this time. Going back to the north, Franklin County, you are under a tornado warning. The potential of seeing something working its way into western portions of Marion County, Tennessee, right around Smithtown, west of South Pittsburgh and Kimball, and around Martin Springs, and also just to the west of I-24 that we just drew that line for right there. That, again, that tornado warning in effect until 1:30. That will be coming to a halt in about 8 minutes. But then the National Weather Service in Morristown is going to have to decide whether or not Marion County gets a tornado warning as well. Don't forget, we have also, again, for Franklin, Tennessee, another area showing, again, a possibility of rotation taking place right around Alto, west of I-24. And it looks like this is degraded quite a lot, but if the warning is still in effect somewhere here, that's going to take it up and into Grundy County, Tennessee, in the southern part of the southern part of Grundy County in the News 12 viewing area. So that is where we could see new tornado warnings anywhere around Marion and Grundy counties coming up here within the next few minutes if we haven't gotten them already. For now, no new tornado warnings issued at this time. Again, for more warnings for Van Buren, Warren, and White County, Tennessee, issued by the National Weather Service in Huntsville. We still have the tornado warning for Franklin County that was issued just about 3-4 minutes ago for that possibility of a tornado located over Sewanee. Again, if you're in the Sewanee area, you need to be in a safe place now and stay there. That also, Sewanee, University of the South, that in that particular location, again, that is for that storm that is moving through right now. So it looks like most of the heaviest activity has gone through, but you are still under a tornado warning in Sewanee, Alto, Rourke Cove, Greensview, north of that area line and west of I-24, off to the west of that. So again, most of that activity has made its way into back into western Grundy and areas around Hamilton County. So that looks like it has passed around Sewanee. Again, in Sewanee, if you're at the University of the South, I would make very certain that you pay attention to the warnings. And again, that won't expire for another 5.5 minutes around that particular area. So please use caution and stay in a safe place until that warning has been lifted. Again, for right now, this is a very dangerous situation. Once these warnings go away, the one in Franklin should expire at 1:30. The one northern Franklin should expire at the same time. The one in Jackson County, Alabama, that also has a life of about 5 minutes left. And then the one south of that, that remains in effect until 2 a.m. for right along the area between Jackson and DeKalb counties. There is also a tornado warning that has been issued farther south for southwestern areas of DeKalb County in Alabama. Again, there's a lot to take into account here because of the fact that we have a lot of activity taking place for now. And this, again, is a situation that we really need to be paying attention to. Okay, that tornado warning, southeast Jackson, central DeKalb counties. That has been extended again until 2 a.m. It's radar indicated rotation, which means the National Weather Service has not received anything in the way of reports of touchdowns. And so far, according to the scans, we do not have anything taking place in the way of debris being lifted aloft. It's called correlation coefficient. And what we look for as these storms move on through is a lot of blue in between all of the red. And it does not look like at this time that we're seeing any growing bubble of debris being thrown upwards into the atmosphere. We do not see anything that shows that a tornado touchdown has occurred. But with these storms, it's a possibility that they are out there, and we still see a very good possibility of a line of shear taking place. That's winds moving at different levels at different speeds. Slower from the southwest down by the surface, higher speeds, and from the west-northwest farther up in the storm. That is where we see the potential of rotation taking place. And from Stevenson, Alabama, all the way down to Geraldine, that also, again, is where we're seeing the worst potential. Right along that line is the strongest shear. The strongest of the strongest here is what we're looking at here around Bellevue, west of Rainsville, Fife, I hope I'm saying that right, again, Crossville down toward Lakeview. That is where we're picking up, again, more intense shear markers, and that is why the tornado warnings have been issued for these particular locations. We're not seeing quite as many for northeast Alabama, but importantly, we are seeing some shear markers taking place in that area. They're very small, they're very close to the radar site, but it is possible that some of that could be, again, rotation taking place inside the storms themselves. Let me zoom out again and give you an idea as to what we're looking at here. We have numerous tornado warnings, some of which are going to drop off the screen here in the next 2.5 minutes. We also have, again, Hamilton County included, a tornado watch that has been issued until 9 o'clock Eastern. That is separate from the other tornado watches that are back to the east. The tornado watch for Marion County, Tennessee until 8 a.m. The tornado watch for Jackson, Alabama, and I think, yes, DeKalb, Alabama, those are in effect. Jackson County, Alabama remains in effect until 4 a.m. Central. DeKalb County remains in effect until 2 a.m. Central. So possibility we may see some tornado watch boxes being thrown out here relatively soon, but we still have a numerous amount of watch boxes taking place, and that includes Dalton, Ringgold, Calhoun, Chattanooga, Soddy Daisy, Dunlap, and also down toward Rome. So we have quite a lot going on here, and we will be on the air for it looks like quite some time to come. I believe we missed the update, so for our friends at the FCC, this is WDEF News 12 in downtown Chattanooga, covering southeast Tennessee, northeast Alabama, and parts of northwest Georgia. I want to make certain our station ID is all taken care of there. What we are going to be looking for, again, let's go back to reflectivity. Seeing, again, several of those warnings taking place, but I believe we'll be getting rid of those, at least some of them pretty soon, but it's not without a realm of imagination that we may see more warnings issued coming back to the west. Matter of fact, let me bring back in, I took the severe thunderstorm warnings off the screen. Let me get rid of the tornado warnings just for a second. And we now have severe thunderstorm warnings for western Hamilton County, west of Chattanooga, northwestern areas of Georgia, and across northeast Alabama. So that, again, is just severe thunderstorm warnings at this time. That, again, is where we see winds of 55 miles per hour plus, heavy rain, maybe some hail in there, and that also is what we're going to be seeing with the potential, of maybe, again, some very heavy downpours and maybe some flash flooding taking place. We'll have to take a look at what we see out of that coming up here. Once again, we have had no indication of anything involving tornadoes on the ground. We do not see anything of that happening for right now, but it is something that we need to take into account. And the reason we're on the air for this is to let you know about what is actually happening and to make certain that you know it's time to get to a place of safety, just to make certain that you are paying attention to all of this. Okay, the tornado warning, Nashville continues it for Van Buren, White, and Warren counties. Severe thunderstorm warning continues there. We do not have anything taking place in the way of a severe thunderstorm producing a tornado. Well, okay, severe thunderstorm warning, like we just said, for Bledsoe, Hamilton County, Ray, and Sequatchie County. So we do have new severe thunderstorm warnings moving into the News 12 viewing area, and we still have at this time right back around northeastern northeastern Jackson County, right around Stevenson. Possible tornado here going down toward Henniger and around Fort Payne in around the DeKalb County areas. So we still have numerous tornado warnings here. Moving toward northwest Georgia, we have not had any indication that the National Weather Service is going to be issuing any new tornado warnings out of this. You see the blinking orange line right there. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. So Dade, Catoosa, Walker, and that areas, they're going to be getting some of these storms. It looks like they might be losing a bit of their edge. But for right now, again, the possibility of tornadoes still exists in parts of the DeKalb and Jackson counties, and those are moving across into Georgia in about the next 15 to 30 minutes. We have, again, some pretty heavy amounts of rain. Tornado warning up around Minville, back at Strait, very close to Bledsoe and Ray counties, up into the northern parts of the News 12 viewing area. So west of Spring City, we get ready for this just in case the National Weather Service issues anything in the way of tornado warnings going your direction. So we still have a lot of warnings to take into account. We have this new tornado watch that was just issued again until 9 o'clock in the morning for Eastern Time Zone, back around Chattanooga and Hamilton County areas to the east. And this whole line is now just west of Chattanooga. And we'll continue again to monitor this. We've been on the air now since about 1 o'clock in the morning, and we still have numerous events taking place. Pardon me while I take a quick sip of water here. Talking for an hour and a half, it does have some minor problems along with it. So let's put this back on the still store and give you an idea as to what's going on. Let's take a quick look again and see what we're seeing for right now. When it whoops, wrong one there. Again, we have tornado warnings still in effect for northeast Alabama. It looks like the one for the Alabama, the Jackson DeKalb County, Alabama line, that also sees that strongest portion of the shear making its way through that area, northeastern parts of Alabama. So that's why we have the tornado warnings that are still in effect for that location. Let me go back a little bit further here. Okay, that's tornado warning. That one should expire here in about 12 minutes back to southwestern DeKalb counties. But it's with that area where the shear is taking place that we're seeing the worst of it. And again, we are getting some pretty good indications of some fairly heavy amounts of rain, but some strong areas of rotation showing up in some of these areas of the storm in portions of DeKalb and Jackson counties in Alabama. So that is something we have to watch as these storms make their way along the Jackson-DeKalb County line and eventually toward the Alabama-Georgia line. That is where the storms are going. We're now starting to get a little bit more in the way of lightning taking place. Let's see how the lightning is doing at this time. If it's increasing, that's not a good sign. Putting the lightning markers back on screen and putting that back into motion, where we see a decent amount of lightning taking place, increasing in intensity, that's a sign that the storm is getting stronger. If we're looking at less in the way of lightning, excuse me, we are looking at less potential. The storm may be weakening a little bit. It doesn't mean that it's completely and totally losing its rotation. It doesn't mean that it's without a decent amount of power. It just means that we are seeing less strength from the storm, and that's good news as that system heads across the Alabama-Georgia line relatively soon. We do see, again, some pretty heavy rainfall with a bunch of this rain could be causing, again, the potential for flash flooding. Let's take a quick look here and go back again. Current warnings in effect. From what you're seeing, tornado warning, that's in effect until 2 a.m. Another 25 minutes as that area moves through portions of northeast Alabama. Jackson and DeKalb counties, that's straddling the county line. That tornado warning in effect until 2 a.m. Central. And for DeKalb County, southern DeKalb County, that's in effect until 2:15 a.m. Central. All of that line is approaching, again, northwestern Georgia, where as of right now, the blinking orange polygons, that is severe thunderstorm warning. So we have a lot of activity going on there. And then back to the west of that, we now have severe thunderstorm warnings for western Hamilton County, and just to the northwest of Bledsoe County, we have a tornado warning taking place there for Warren, Van Buren, and I believe White County. That, again, could scrape close to the area of northwestern Bledsoe County in the News 12 viewing area. So please pay attention to that and keep it tuned to News 12 for more information on that. I'm going to take a look at our camera right now. Heavy rain starting to make its way in from the west of Chattanooga. And we've got very heavy rainfall now descending on downtown and the west of the viewing area. So, okay, good lightning flash there. So what you're looking at is, again, back off to the south and west. So we've got plenty of rain hitting the camera lens. Lookout Mountain is off there in the distance someplace, but visibility with rain, wind, and fog is very much on the low side. So slow travel, a good possibility on the interstate system. This is, again, our Bailey's Heating and Air camera on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network, and a good possibility that we will be seeing some more lightning strikes coming up here relatively soon. We have, again, we're waiting for updates from the National Weather Service. We still have the warnings in effect for right now, west of the Georgia-Alabama line and west of Bledsoe County in Tennessee. That, again, is the most dangerous situation that we have for right now. The tornado warning for Warren and White counties in Tennessee, the one we're looking at on your screen that we're pointing to right there, that has been canceled for Warren and White counties. Go forward in time there. That'll show up here in just a second on the screen. But for right now, the tornado warning for Warren and White counties has been canceled. Good news on that. National Weather Service Huntsville canceling the tornado watch for Marshall and Franklin counties. So good news on that. Let's go back to, again, what we've got right now and show you, again, a little bit more about what's going on with the current watches situation here. And I know I had it here a minute ago. There we go. Okay, good news, again, at this time, Franklin County and back toward Madison County in Alabama, just north of Jackson County and west of Jackson County, Alabama. You have been lifted from the tornado watch, so the severe weather threat has come to an end. Now, Grundy County, you're not under the watch, but you've got some pretty healthy storms coming through right now. And again, in the next few minutes, we should see the potential of these tornado warnings being dropped for portions of the area. So if you're in front of any of these storms coming on through, you really need to be in a safe place. This, again, is the current look. I'm going to stop this for just a second so we can zoom in on some particular areas. What we're seeing, again, right around Chattanooga, the heavy rain has started to move through. Some lightning strikes west of Lookout and Signal Mountain, so we're not seeing as much in the way of lightning as we did before. So some good news on that. Down to the south and west of Chattanooga, we still have numerous tornado warnings taking place. Jackson, Alabama, that storm is now crossing the line, heading into northwestern Georgia, back up around Trenton and Dade counties, and then the line continues all the way down to the south from there. Let's take a look and see what's going on here, right down around the area of DeKalb and Jackson counties. As we're seeing what looks to be, yes, around Elliott Crossroads and Stamp, and then a little bit further down, what we're seeing, and this is what is called velocity mode. You're taking a look at the winds blowing in one particular direction. Again, winds blowing away from the radar site. That, again, showing, again, the storm winds here, and then winds blowing back toward the radar site around here. So we've got some very broad rotation taking place. But what we're mainly looking at and more curious about are things like this particular notch. What you're seeing here is, again, very close range winds moving in from one direction and around from another. So between Colbrand Adamsburg, Douglas, Lickskillet, and Dogtown. Good possibility of a tornado right around there. There's also between Fisher's Crossroads and around Fort Payne and Douglas, west of Pumpkin Center, there might be the potential of some more tornado warnings taking place there. So that, again, could be a possible problem. Again, a tornado located over Crossville, 9 miles northeast of Boaz. And that, again, let's go back to the north and clear that out. More potential of tornadoes. Again, another very good notch showing up here around Elliott Crossroads. What we're seeing here, this could be a couple of them. We see, again, one potential rotation located here right along and south of the line between Jackson and DeKalb counties, and then another possible rotation here right up around New Home, and another possible rotation in the middle of all that, again, right in this area around High Point and Stamp, west of Hammondville. Could be, again, the potential of numerous tornado vortexes out there tonight. Again, this is why it is so important to make certain that you are in a safe place. The tornado warnings have not been repeated by the National Weather Service in Peachtree City, Georgia. So for around Dade, Walker, Catoosa, western Whitfield, and over toward around Chattanooga counties, you are under severe thunderstorm warnings at this time, but the tornado warnings back off to the west of that continue for at least a little while to come. DeKalb, Alabama, and also again into Jackson County, we still have some tornado warnings here in effect until 2:15 a.m. Central Time. So these tornado warnings that were and have been in effect, the worst portion of the line, again from Fort Payne, Ider, making its way to the east, northeast, let's call it 50 miles per hour. That, again, is going to be making its way into northwestern Georgia. So if you're in the area of the line between Georgia and Alabama, that is where the storm is going to be heading across relatively soon. It looks like the National Weather Service in Peachtree City, Georgia, on this particular side of the state line, is not issuing anything in the way of any tornado warnings. So that's good news. It comes to a halt right at the Alabama line. But we are also looking again at some strong weather, winds, possible hail, possible heavy rainfall, all into this particular location. And that, again, is going to be crossing through the Alabama-Georgia line along and south of the Tennessee state line. So whether or not you have a new tornado warning taking place, you do have, again, tornado warnings that have been issued and now are, again, starting to come to an end. But if I was on the Georgia side of the line, I would make very certain that I was in a safe place as these storms come on through and wait for the all clear, because we will see, again, the worst of the worst activity going on in this location. So let me zoom out a little bit and give you the entire view here. What do we have here? Tornado warning from Van Buren County right up, including right around the Bledsoe County area. Severe thunderstorm warning has been issued there. Right around the area of Sequatchie and Grundy counties, we have severe thunderstorm warnings. We do not have at this time, and I hope I'm not jinxing it, no tornado warnings taking place in and around the area north and west of Chattanooga. We have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings taking place, and that heavy rainfall now passing through downtown Chattanooga and Hamilton County, but no tornado warnings are in effect at this time for the News 12 viewing area in Tennessee. Likewise, no tornado warnings are in effect for the area of northwest Georgia. National Weather Service in Peachtree City has deigned not to issue anything at this time, which, again, if they don't see anything taking place, we're going to follow their lead on that. We do not issue our own warnings. nor do we issue any of our own, we don't issue our own watches. We don't issue advisories. That is the National Weather Service. That is one more reason why NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, is so important, because they protect the public, and they've been doing it for a very long time. So this is just one more thing that NOAA actually does to keep the public safe, and we depend on those warnings and watches and everything else. And after a fashion, so do you. It's definitely want to make certain that the public is watching, again, what goes on out there. We're still not seeing anything in the way of debris being picked up, so good news on that. But we do still see, again, the potential for that is a decently strong signature right around New Home and Council Bluff. What we're looking at is, again, this particular area here, right over I-59, which again is running right through that particular area. So we may be seeing a pretty intense, fairly sharp area of rotation. Council Bluff right around I-59, starting to increase across that area that you're looking there with the darker red and the sharper red colors there. So north of Council Bluff, northwest of Hammondville, crossing I-59, that is where we may be looking at some sections of tornado possibilities there. Again, we have no confirmation of anything on the ground. These tornadoes are going to be, this is all the rainfall that is out there. This is reflectivity mode. This shows the heaviest amount of rainfall. And yes, there could be a tornado somewhere in this area, but the trouble is it's wrapped around like a curtain by rain. So seeing it or knowing that it's on the ground is going to be almost next to impossible, which is why storm chasing in weather like this is not a good idea. You don't want to wind up someplace to where we may see the potential of more problems. You don't want to risk anything by getting out in weather like this where you are blind to basically what is happening. Radar is great, but keeping a well distance away from a tornado and staying away from a rain-wrapped one, especially on a night like this, that's your best safety pick right there. I'm going to have to call into question this. We have a new tornado warning from the National Weather Service in Huntsville. We're looking at a tornado near Fort Payne, moving to the east at approximately, moving at northeast at 110 miles per hour. I don't think that is a realistic view. There might have been a mistake made at that point in time, but we're looking at that particular tornado warning there, and it looks like if we're looking at what the National Weather Service is looking at, what we are taking a look at especially is this area here, northeastern DeKalb County. Somewhere in here is a possible tornado. So that, again, is where we could be looking at the potential danger taking place. It's a very broad rotation. There's no sharp indications of a strong rotation here, but it is possible that we could see, again, something in this particular area, Fort Payne and Douglas down to the south of this. And again, what we're looking at is somewhere in this area, northeast of Fort Payne. That is the best view that we have for right now of the potential of winds. Taking a look at the shear, we are seeing, again, that strong shear mode right between Fisher's Crossroads and back around Alpine. So that could be the best indication that we've had of a possible tornado. And the shear markers going off, again, just to the east of that location. So again, somewhere in that area, that's where we're seeing the best possibility of maybe some possible shear taking place that could indicate rotation, and also seeing, again, the potential for maybe some touchdowns. Okay, this is brand new. Let's get back to base velocity. The National Weather Service in Peachtree City has issued a tornado warning for Walker and Dade counties, and that's it. Okay, so 2 counties there now under a tornado warning. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near the Hammondville area and 10 miles north of Fort Payne. Okay, this one's a little bit more realistic, moving northeast at approximately 50 miles per hour. Again, this is radar indicated rotation. I think we're looking again at the area probably close to Rising Fawn. If that is any indication right there, some broad rotation possible, moving right across I-59 and the Alabama-Georgia line. So that is going to be making its way up to the north and to the east. So that is where we are seeing that next tornado warning now issued for northwest Georgia. Let me just stop this for a second and go back up to the north and just double check. We do not have any new tornado warnings for the northern portion of the News 12 viewing area. Chattanooga and Hamilton County, not seeing any tornado warnings. Severe thunderstorm warnings. Bradley, Marion, Sequatchie, Bledsoe, back up toward Ray and into, no severe thunderstorm warnings there. Southern Meigs County, and again back up into around Sequatchie County. So we do have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings north of the Tennessee line, and yes, that does include parts of Chattanooga, but no tornado warnings in effect for that particular area. Chattanooga and Hamilton County does not have any tornado warnings taking place. That is not the case in Alabama and Georgia. Again, we have tornado warnings for DeKalb County in a couple of locations taking place. So we have a couple of possible areas of rotation. They are not great. We are seeing, again, let me go back here for just a second. Again, back into right around where you see this green line taking place. This right here shows, again, the potential of where the winds will be twisting the most, and anywhere along this area. Let me put the rotation tracker on there. But for right now, anywhere across this line, especially as the winds make their way across the area from Alabama to Georgia, we could have tornadoes any place across that line, and that is why the National Weather Services have issued these tornado warnings in effect for these particular spots. So if you're in northwest Georgia, if you're in Chattanooga, Walker, and over toward just north of Chattanooga County, Walker, Dade, and right up to the Catoosa County line, that is where we have, again, a tornado warning in effect until 3:30 Eastern time. That'll be about another 40 minutes or so. Radar indicated rotation, could be flying debris out there. Let me check in new information from the National Weather Service taking place. Severe thunderstorm warning, that's okay, old information taking place there. Let's see what else we've got here. Okay, a tornado possible earlier on back around the Eider area, right in the center portion of your screen. This is a little bit older information. This is about maybe 5 minutes old. So there was a potential problem of a tornado here 12 miles northeast of Fort Payne, moving northeast at about 50 miles per hour. So again, right along that line that we're looking at, that strong line between the red and the green crossing the Alabama line, that is where we see the best potential of rotation taking place. And once again, it looks like for right now, the best signature right around the Dade-Walker County line taking place there, and somewhere again northeast of Fort Payne, somewhere in here could be the potential of some tornadoes moving across from Alabama into Georgia. So that is where we see the worst of the worst for now taking place. And beyond that, we do not have any other new tornado warnings outside of what you see into and around Walker and Dade counties with new tornado warnings being issued there. Let's go back to the reflectivity mode so we can see again where these strong storms are taking place and put this into motion. For our guests tuning in on YouTube tonight, let me step off camera here for just a little bit. The noise is going to go a little bit muffled here as I step away from the microphone that is capturing my voice. So stay tuned and I'll be right back with you once again. Let's take a look at what that information was from National Weather Service Nashville. More information about Coffee County, Tennessee, around Manchester. Tree has fallen on a home in that area. Radar indicated tornado around Cumberland, Van Buren, and White counties. That tornado continues with a possible tornado in that mixture there. Peachtree City continues the tornado warning, capable of producing a tornado near Hammondville, 10 miles northeast of Fort Payne, moving at 50 miles per hour. New information. Okay, the tornado warning, the first tornado warning in DeKalb County has been allowed to expire. So that's good news. We should see that pop off the screen here in just a minute, at least most of it. We still have a tornado warning that still remains in effect until 2 o'clock. That'll be about 5 more minutes with that one crossing into Georgia. And the tornado warning here down to around Cherokee, Alabama, and back toward DeKalb. We actually have 2 tornado warnings around the area close to eastern DeKalb County, right up and along the Georgia-Alabama line. So we're looking at this one here, and then, okay, also that tornado warning on either. So DeKalb County, northeastern part right there, you've got those 2 tornado warnings left, and moving into, again, the area where this new tornado warning has been issued in northwestern Georgia, again, around the area of Dade and Walker counties. Picking that up, that strong line is now pretty well into Georgia from Alabama. We still have a lot of rain around Cherokee County in Alabama, and that crossing into the area back down around Chattanooga counties. We don't have a new tornado warning for this one. Again, we'll see what the National Weather Service in Peachtree City has to say. Heavy rainfall and some lightning, but not seeing anything in the way of severe weather on top of the severe thunderstorm warning for Hamilton County. Numerous severe thunderstorm warnings up here. Let me get the radar back up so you can see a little bit more about what I'm talking about there. That, again, is where we see the worst potential so far. Just seeing severe thunderstorm warnings. Hopefully I'm not jinxing anything by saying that, but the most powerful line of storms, again, back up around Pikeville down to about Dunlap, Yeshiva Springs. This up here, again, from Van Buren, White, and Warren counties, being slowly canceled by the National Weather Service in Nashville, is a tornado warning here for a possible tornado detected there. Moving across northern areas of Sequatchie counties and back up to around Bledsoe counties. That may scrape by, again, parts of western and northwestern Ray counties in about the next 15-30 minutes. So that is where we're going to be looking at the worst potential going on here. The orange flashing polygons you see on the screen as the radar animates, those are severe thunderstorm warnings taking place. And again, a tornado warning now in effect for Dade and Walker counties in and around portions of northwestern Georgia. Most of Alabama will be out of the tornado warnings here in just about 2.5 minutes. So we will see an end of the tornado warnings here, but we still have the threat of the possibility of more severe weather as we get into the next couple of hours for southeastern Tennessee and back into portions of western and north central Georgia. So that's what we're looking at for right now. Let me give the break, excuse me, the radar a bit of a break here as we switch back over and let the area do some catching up. Okay, new information, and this will help out by just a little bit. Notice on your screen here that, again, the tornado watch is now absent from Jackson and DeKalb counties in Alabama. So now that those storms are over into Dade, Walker, and Chattanooga, Jackson and DeKalb counties, in about 90 seconds, you will be totally free of the severe weather threat for now. It still is in effect for southeastern Tennessee, Bradley, Hamilton, Sequatchie, and Marion counties specifically. And for northern Georgia, all counties in the News 12 viewing area in northern Georgia, minus Fannin County. That you're still not under a watch at this time, but that could change a little bit later on. We are still dealing with some very heavy rain. It started to slack off a little bit. EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network from downtown looking back. Lookout Mountain is out there in the distance someplace, but it's kind of hard to see. Lots of rain, very low visibility, slow traffic at this time at 153 and 64 on the Plainview outdoor advertising camera. I want to see how traffic is going a little bit closer to 2475 through all that construction. And as of right now on the Tomahawk crane and rigging camera, so far we're not looking at total outage of visibility. We're not seeing any problems again here, but the roadways are wet and definitely going to continue again some slow travel out there into the rest of the night. So if you are out and about, take your time. If you don't have to be out and about, might want to see about just staying home if you possibly can, just to be on the safe side. Let's take a quick look here at power outages. We're not showing anything major where the storms have already come through. There are some power outages back toward Huntsville and I-65 on the far left-hand side of your screen. So far, we're only showing a few hundred power outages. Bradley, Polk, Monroe in Tennessee, and Murray County reporting about 200 outages at this time, but really not much of anything else showing up at this point. Okay, tornado watch and warnings have been canceled for DeKalb County in Alabama. So we'll take a look at our warning statements and show again the earlier warnings taking place. Those will be leaving the screen here pretty soon. Time is 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central. This is WDEF News 12 in Chattanooga, Tennessee, for our friends at the FCC paying attention there. Those warnings you're looking at here in DeKalb County should be going away, and there, poof, there they went. The tornado warning remains in effect again for Dade and Walker counties, so definitely want to stay in your safe place and remain there as we see the worst part of that severe weather threat coming on through from that location. Our severe weather threat again continues, as does the threat of possible flash flooding. So Bledsoe, Sequatchie, Grundy, and Marion counties, you are still under a flood watch until 11 o'clock Central Time in this area. The heaviest rainfall could cause the worst possible problems with flooding. So again, definitely want to keep it tuned to News 12 for updates on that. And again, if you're driving, remember, turn around, don't drown. Find another way to get to where you're going, just to make certain that, again, don't drive into water-covered roadways. It could be the last mistake you ever make. That's why that little rhyme was issued out there, to make certain that everybody was paying attention there for right now. So again, for the time being, that is going to be the heaviest amount of rainfall out there for right now on YouTube. Thanks to everybody for tuning in for tonight. Wanda Paget on YouTube. Any concerns for Columbus, Georgia? Have family there. Does not look like a major problem. Let me go back to the radar so we can take a better look at what's going on. Again, much of what we're seeing from that area looks like the storms will be passing on through down to the south. But for right now, I don't see a major imminent threat for Columbus, Georgia. But in the next couple of hours, there's a good possibility they could see some severe weather down that direction. So definitely want to pay attention to what is going on there if you have family around that particular area. Logan on YouTube, getting lightning and thunder about half an hour ago, getting some thunder and lightning in Lookout Valley. Looking toward Albertville in Georgia, I'm assuming. That, again, not seeing anything really major for right now, but there will be the potential of more possible problems out there, and we could see again more potential of rainfall causing a lot more concern where flooding is an issue. Again, that could be the potential issue there for the next several hours. Albertville, Alabama. I was getting the towns mixed up. Most of the heaviest activity is past Albertville and has moved off to the east. Answering questions on News 12 YouTube channel on there. Kelsey Bowling, again, apologies. There's only one microphone that we can use here at this time due to some connection issues. And again, we would love to be able to bring you the audio all the way out and through, but unfortunately we have to kind of half and half it as I appear in front of the green screen from time to time. All right, let's go into the area to where we have, again, the tornado warning taking place. It looks like it's being canceled for Dade County, so that's good news, but we still see, again, that potential for some rotation moving through. You're looking at the storm relative velocity. What we see on this, again, the green and the red showing the green moving one direction and the red another. And right through here, that's the more interesting one to see that there is a little bit of some rotation here, but we also have some very broad rotation taking place. Notice again what we see around Cassandra and Davis Crossroads and that little notch taking place right around Cooper Heights. So there could be a tornado somewhere in this area and another notch taking place right around Chickamauga. So somewhere in there could also be some rotation in that particular area, and that is moving through the central part of Walker County at this time, to where we have heard, again, of no touchdowns just yet. The National Weather Service has not shown anything in the way of anything involving touchdowns. We may not see anything because of the fact that at nighttime it is very difficult to, again, see anything out there, especially going back into reflectivity mode. If you have storms that are wrapped around by heavy rainfall, and that's exactly what we're looking at here, that is where we see, again, the most dangerous situation. Going out and looking for tornadoes on a night like this, you want to try to get a picture, you want to try to get some video of that. That could be the last mistake you ever make. So please do not do anything like that. That is going to be one of the worst things you can possibly do. Stay inside, stay safe, stay on the lowest floor of whatever building you happen to be on, stay in the center part of whatever building you happen to be in. Again, think of a tic-tac-toe board. You want to win the game, you want to start in the center. That's where you go when a tornado warning is issued. That's something that I talk to at all of the schools that we go to when it comes to learning about severe weather safety and keeping it simple. Just remember, again, central part of whatever building you're in, and also taking a look again at the lowest floor. And with these storms, we have had reports of wind gusts of 75 miles per hour, hurricane force winds with these storms over into Alabama and southern middle areas of Tennessee. So this is nothing to be messing around with. Indoors and staying indoors is one of your absolute best bets. And again, venturing outside when you have a tornado that has been rain wrapped, it's like drawing a curtain around something. You can't see it. And at nighttime especially, unless there's a decent amount of lightning, you cannot see anything whatsoever. I'm going to stop the radar here for a second, and I want to go back to our camera because it appears we've had some lightning strikes and some possible damage and outages around the Tomahawk crane and rigging camera. All of the lights not entirely off, but it looks like lightning has taken out a good deal of the street lights in and around south central Chattanooga and just north of the Georgia state line. So it's a good possibility that if this area is being affected, there could be more outages out there, including on city streets. There might be flashing red and yellow lights. There could be, again, the potential for no traffic lights out there at various locations. So this is something that we're going to continue to monitor. Let's go back to our power outages map. And we now have power outages being reported in Hamilton County, 200 being reported now. Don't have anything more specific than that. But again, traveling tonight may not be the best idea if you can stay indoors once again, and if you can wait until all this line of trouble has moved its way on through. Again, what we're watching now is a tornado warning. Walker County, Georgia, the strongest portion of that line moving on through. We've had no updates just yet from the National Weather Service talking about what the situation is, but we hope to get some more information here pretty soon. This is something from Colbert County, Alabama. Muscle Shoals from earlier tonight reporting a wind gust of 84 miles per hour. That was measured at the Northwest Alabama Regional Airport. KMSL sign right there, an automated system observing system. That is a pretty healthy dose of wind. So now that ups the amount we've had from 60 to near 85 miles per hour. So this storm could again drop a heavy amount of possible tornadoes. We haven't seen that. We haven't had confirmation of that, but it is possible. And so far, the only thing we have left is this particular tornado warning in Walker County, Georgia, that issued by the National Weather Service in Peachtree City, Georgia. Around the horn and taking a look at what is going on. Northeast Alabama, we have rain. Let's get the lightning back on there. We do have some lightning, but not as much as we had before. Back into around our viewers for western North Carolina, Cherokee County, around Murphy. Nothing happening yet, but that whole line is on its way your direction, so be prepared for that. Into around northwest Georgia, again, we've got the heaviest area of precipitation taking place, and that tornado warning, which has been shaved off a little bit. Dade County, you are now no longer in the tornado warning, so that, again, is over with for the time being. And then let's go back up and take a look and see what's going on for southeast Tennessee, including around Chattanooga. We do not have any warnings at this point in time. All that warning is the storms that are strong enough making its way over into Bradley, McMinn, Meigs, Monroe, Polk counties, and eventually into western North Carolina. But the worst of the worst activity for now is basically over eastern parts of Hamilton, central and eastern parts of Hamilton County. We also again see the strongest portion of the line, some gusty, damaging winds possible between Pikeville, Dayton, and Dunlap, north of Soddy Daisy. And then that heaviest wind in that particular fractured portion of the storm is approaching Bradley County and Cleveland from the west. So we do have, again, some heavy amounts of winds, heavy rainfall, possibility of some strong, maybe large hail in some of this, but most of this at this time appears to be kind of breaking up a little bit as the storm moves into a little bit more stable conditions. Let's hope that continues. I want to take a look and see if we have anything to worry about in the way of large hail. That does not appear to be a threat at this time. Usually we'd be picking up some pretty good amounts of signatures. Earlier tonight, it looks like we did have some decent amounts of hail localized in western Marion County, Tennessee, and northeastern Jackson County in Alabama. So good news that we see, again, less and less in the way of hail taking place. Let's go back to correlation coefficient, and we want to double check this real quick, because what we're looking for here, correlation coefficient is a very fancy term for this radar selection, but it's basically what it says on the screen, a debris detector. And going back and forth, we are not seeing any signs of any indication of any portion of debris being lifted up. What we would see at some portion in time would be the possibility. What we would be looking for would be a lot of blue in the red. So we would see the potential of more areas blooming upwards into the atmosphere. We are not seeing that right now, so that's good news. No apparent touchdowns. That might be a different story in the morning, and the National Weather Service offices will have to let us know more about that. More, again, for right now, the most important idea, I want to keep you updated as to what's going on with the tornado warning in Walker County, Georgia. No further updates from the National Weather Service in Peachtree City. Hoping to get some more updates here. Sometimes they can be kind of sparse, so we'll be waiting to see what they say about that. There is some indication here that we are picking up some fractured areas of rotation, but again, National Weather Service want to make sure everybody's paying attention. So somewhere in this particular area, Dogwood Circle, Lafayette, north of Blaylock Mill, and approaching Catlett, and from the west, and Center Grove from the southwest, and close to the Naomi area. Again, what we're seeing is not great. We would see a very tight circulation out there, and it could be that that's what we're looking at possibly here, and again, possibly here with the area of rotation out there, possibly again going into the area coming close to the Walker, Whitfield, Catoosa County areas. That is where we may see some potential out there. National Weather Service, let's switch over for just a second from Huntsville to the National Weather Service in Peachtree City. And no, we are not picking up anything here. It looks like the radar is a little bit too high for that, but the strongest area of where we're seeing anything that could be considered winds is, again, Dogwood Circle, Lafayette, Pledger Parkway, Blaylock Mill, and around Fairview Heights. At least that's the way it looks on this particular model. We're seeing the shear markers go over to the east. The best potential for anything involving shear now over toward Villanelle, East Armuchee, Rio, Mill Creek, and east of the Naomi area. So it looks like that's passing us by, and the chance of anything involving huge amounts of shear diminishing as we see from this particular location, from the Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama line, and then moving this way, the green gets less and less intense. So we don't see much of anything going on in the way of possible problems. Going up here, let me just double check what this is here around Ascalon. Possibility of something going on here. Let me go back to reflectivity mode. Might be an anomaly, might be something else brewing there on the back side of this main line, but for right now it looks like it is just hopefully an anomaly and nothing else showing up at this point. National Weather Service looks like now has issued a new tornado warning, at least for that particular area. Oh, that might be, again, severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, so the entire thing here we're watching is just anything in the way of a tornado warning with no specific amounts of anything showing up. Let's see what the National Weather Service has to say here. Severe thunderstorm warning continues in effect at this time for until 3:45 a.m. Eastern for that particular area of north central Georgia. Again, you were watching the tornado warning here in Walker County. All the other polygons that you're looking at are orange in color, and that means severe thunderstorm warnings. These things are booking along. According to National Weather Service near Atlanta, these storms around Villanelle to Coosa to Spring Garden are moving northeast at approximately 75 miles per hour. So that's why this is a very big severe thunderstorm warning here, encompassing the fact that these storms are moving along very quickly. So hopefully this tornado warning here will be issued, will be gotten out of the way with, and nothing will be reissued as we head into the next couple of hours. But the time frame here, 3:15 Eastern, 2:15 Central Time Zone. The good news again at this time is that the worst of the worst is now Chattanooga and east and back over into northwest Georgia. So the main line coming through right about here and making its way over to the east. It is diminishing. Instead of 6 tornado warnings, we are down to 1. So that in and of itself is good news. And we might have some better news here in just a little bit. Let's see what the National Weather Service has to say. Let's see. Okay, the tornado warning has been canceled for Walker County, Georgia. So that is now taken out of the equation, and we are now tornado warning less. So good news on that. We have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings, and that, again, is where we are continuing to monitor what goes on. Again, the tornado watch that you heard about earlier, Jackson and DeKalb counties, you are out of the tornado watch that was in effect for quite some time. North Georgia, around Walker, Dade, Catoosa, 9 a.m. tornado watch, but it's a good bet once these lines of storms clear the particular area, we will see an end to the possibility of any more warnings taking place. Hamilton County, yes, you are included in that, and that includes the city of Chattanooga and the environs there. So again, that particular warning is in effect until 9 a.m., but it's going to be canceled much quicker than that as those storms move through. The watches get discontinued, and we will see less and less in the way of warnings taking place throughout the rest of the night. So we've got a little bit more than an hour of some more potential problems here, and we will watch again to see what goes on. But those severe thunderstorm warnings for Chattanooga, Hamilton County, that goes in effect for the next 12 and a half minutes, and also for northern Georgia, that remains in effect for the next about 27 minutes or so, and those again are severe thunderstorm warnings. Those are not tornado warnings. The tornado warning for Walker County, Georgia has been canceled by the National Weather Service in Peachtree City, Georgia. So good news for that. Let me just make certain that statement is there. The storm that prompted the warning has weakened below severe limits and has exited the warning area. Therefore, the warning has been canceled. But that tornado watch does still continue in effect. So we want to make certain we are paying attention to what is still happening out there. For my director, Sol, we'll be wrapping up here in a couple of minutes and going back to regular programming. But we will, again, see the potential, as long as these storms are on their way, heading back to the east. It's a good possibility that anywhere to the east of I-75, going from Chattanooga to Atlanta, anywhere here in southeast Tennessee, areas of northeast Georgia and western North Carolina, there is still the threat of severe weather, including severe weather with high winds. So please keep that in mind, especially if you are traveling. Again, please keep in mind that there is a wind advisory in effect for all of the News 12 viewing area for winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour and wind gusts of 45 miles per hour plus in the blue. In the light turquoise, there is a high wind warning in effect for southeast Monroe and southeast Polk counties for winds that could gust around 70 miles per hour. So please, again, consider that when driving between Knoxville and Asheville in the higher parts of the Appalachians. Could be very troubled travel out there for anybody driving a high-profile vehicle, so please use caution out there. Once again, the severe weather threat is ending. Heading off to the east, Storm Prediction Center showing the worst of the worst going back over to the Appalachians and into the Carolinas. So that should be avoiding us into the rest of the night. There is also the potential of, again, a flood situation. Flash flooding could be a potential issue for Bledsoe, Sequatchie, Grundy, and Marion counties. And don't forget also that as we look out and about for tonight, there is plenty of rain on the roadways. Lights have come back on at 2475, but there is heavy rain out there. A lot of spray being kicked up. Hydroplaning is a very big issue, so definitely want to slow it down if you have to travel tonight. If not, definitely want to slow it down because it looks like the number of power outages have increased. 600 now being reported in Sequatchie, 800 in Catoosa, 500 in Murray County, Georgia, and 100 in Polk and Monroe counties. So the power outages could be a potential travel issue into overnight. So definitely want to pay attention to that. And again, keep it tuned to News 12. We're going to monitor here for about the next hour or so to pay attention to what is going on. But those, as of right now, the heaviest portion of that line making its way through parts of northern Georgia, it's moving into some a little bit more stable air. So that is very good news. Taking a look at the forecast radar again through about 4 o'clock in the morning, through about 5 o'clock into right before daybreak. That takes all of the severe weather out of the picture and into the Carolinas and down into central Georgia. After that, it's going to get much colder. Temperatures will drop throughout the rest of Sunday. And the higher elevations, we may see some snow out there in the Cumberland Plateau and eventually over into around between Knoxville and Asheville. So we could see some snow on the ground tomorrow morning for parts of the News 12 viewing area. So definitely want to keep an ear to News 12. Chip Chapman will have your forecast coming up into Monday morning. And if there's any slick spots out there, there is more potential of snow coming our way into the next several days. And that includes maybe the possibility of some slowdowns for school out there. One more thing to mention, just outside of the News 12 viewing area, Pickens, Cherokee, Cobb counties in Georgia and areas into north central and northeast Georgia are under a dense fog advisory from the National Weather Service in Peachtree City. If you're heading south toward Atlanta on I-75, not only will you have dense fog to deal with, but you've also got rain and the possibility of some very heavy winds. So please, again, use caution if you are out there on the roadways for tonight. Again, for right now, things are decently quiet, so without tornado warnings in effect for any part of the News 12 viewing area, and hopefully it remains that way. Again, that tornado watch continues in effect for parts of Georgia and Tennessee until 9 a.m., but they will be closing those down, I'm sure, within about the next 90 minutes as this portion of this line continues to slowly fall apart. Again, it's still possible for severe weather. That's why we have the warnings up and in place. We will be going back on the air if there are any more tornado warnings for parts of the News 12 viewing area. But for right now, it's heavy rain, gusty winds, and the possibility of some tornadoes out there. So please keep that in mind. Get ready to get to your safe place, especially if you are east or southeast of Chattanooga, southeast Tennessee, north central Georgia. Will still see a threat of severe weather into the next 60 to 90 minutes before all of this crosses out of the News 12 viewing area around Cherokee County, North Carolina, and Fannin and Gilmer counties in eastern parts of the viewing area in Georgia. Once again, time is 3:23, 23 minutes after the hour, and as of right now, there are no current tornado warnings in effect, but plenty more rainfall to come for a good portion of the area. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick. We've been live and direct for the last 2.5 hours, keeping you updated as to what's going on, and we'll be here throughout much of the rest of the night to make certain you are updated. Updates on what actually happened overnight coming up tonight on News 12 at 11, and don't forget to check out our website at wdef.com/weather. Thanks for joining us for special severe weather coverage. We now send you back to regular programming.